Welcome back to On the Line. I'm your host, as always, Juan with my partner in crime, the Rykno, Ryan Knowles, and talking about the key matchups in this game with ASU's offense against the UCLA defense. As we talked about in the prior segment, the Bruins are a pressure defense. They like to get after that quarterback. And for me, Rykno, the key matchup, without question, and you touched on this in the last segment, Evan Finkelberg and Bryce Schwab got to have a big game. They cannot let Anthony Barr and Damon Holmes tee off on these guys. They can't let these guys get into the backfield and tackle DJ Foster, tackle Cam Marshall, Marion Grice for losses. We can't let them get to Taylor Kelly and rattle him and upset his progressions, upset his process as far as running the offense. And Jamil Douglas and Evan Finkelberg also need to be attuned to Dayton Jones, because this is a guy who's been around a while. He's a senior. He loves to get after it as well. So Finkelberg, Schwab, and Jamil Douglas need to have a huge game. They need to be able to go out there. They need to up their level of play, because against these three guys, if you're not on your game, if you're not attuned to your assignments, if you're not finishing these guys, if you're not blocking to the whistle, you're going to get embarrassed. And Rykno, this is a big game. They cannot allow these guys to run loose.
Yeah, I don't think anything less than the A game from the entire offensive line is going to be acceptable.
I agree.
And, sticking with
There's
that.
no room for error with these guys. No margin for error.
Because sticking with that, I think that they definitely need to establish the run in this game, because Cameron Marshall, he only had 6 carries against Oregon. You've got to be able to get him the ball more often and free him up, because he needs to have more touches, and you got to create holes for him and Marion Grice to run through, because that running game is really.
And against the 3-4, if you get a hat on a hat and you get to that second level, Rykno, you can open up those running lanes. But like you said, offensive line has to show up this game. They can't. They just don't have any room for error. Can't say that enough.
But you can run on this UCLA defense. Opponents are running for over 150 yards of 150 yards a game against them. They're giving up about 400 yards of total offense per game. So they're prone to giving up yards. They're prone to giving up the big play. They've given up 40+ points on a few occasions this year. This is not the same UCLA team that beat Nebraska earlier in the year. They've only won 2 conference games so far, against Colorado and Washington State. So this is a team I feel like you can get after it. You can put points up on the board. You can take care of the football. You don't beat yourself with penalties, and you just play your game and you dictate the tempo. That's all it really takes.
And then you looking at these rosters right now, what are your key matchups? What are you seeing that needs to happen?
Establishing the run is a big one, but you've also, I touched on it, you got to be able to take care of the ball. Bruins D, they get after it. They force turnovers extremely well, and when they can get the ball back in the hands of that dynamic offense, they're very tough to stop, especially when you get a defense when you bring the defense back on the field with short rest. So they force turnovers. They pursue the quarterback extremely well. It's crucial that Taylor Kelly shakes off that performance against Oregon. You talk about you hear it all the time. Quarterback's got to have a short memory.
Absolutely.
It can't carry over week after week, and he's got to have a strong game against this dynamic UCLA defense, because they really need this game. This is a game I feel like they have to have.
One key matchup that I'm just chuckling about is Todd Graham versus Jim Mora Jr.
Absolutely. Yeah, very true. Yeah.
They're definitely two coaches in their first years looking to redefine their programs. And you got one guy who's rebuilding ASU, trying to touch back with their tradition.
Yep.
You got another guy who hasn't been very successful on the NFL level. UCLA trying to maybe get that Pete Carroll mojo going with Jim Mora Jr. So definitely a lot of subplots in this game. And of course, again, get out there to the stadium, wear your gold, maroon, black, whatever you want. The team will be in black helmets, black jerseys, gold pants. That's going to do it for this part as far as the key matchups for this game. When we come back, Rykno is going to be talking about the keys to the game. Don't go away.